Hello, hello, happy Thanksgiving. We are gonna be doing a video tutorial on our turkey cake contest. We will ask everyone to submit their pictures by the Monday following Thanksgiving, and we'll be posting the pictures that week. The contest will begin and we will send you all the details. Just to begin, this is what your set is going to include. These are our chocolates. We have our buttercream bags here. You will receive a big container with your brown buttercream and then your pumpkin spice cake with vanilla filling. Some of you have added the accessory kit, which will include the turntable, offset spatula, cake smoother. We're gonna include some of this paper towel, which we'll explain later. It'll help smooth the cake for you. And a piece of parchment paper. And we will begin the tutorial.
All right, guys, here we go. So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna get your brown icing in a bowl. It's already gonna be colored, but you wanna give it a good stir just to make sure it's all nice and mixed up. And then you're gonna grab your spatula and get about the top of it, a dollop, and you're just gonna shake it and put it right on there to the top of the cake. And then the next thing you're gonna do is we're taking our offset spatula and we're gonna hold it with our 3 fingers and our thumb behind, and we're gonna be keeping our pointer finger on the metal rim. And then you're gonna hold it at a 45-degree angle, put it into the icing, and then turn the turntable without moving the spatula. And you just keep on turning and it will smooth itself out.
If you don't have a turntable, you can put a plate upside down that's got a little bit of a rim just so that it's not sitting directly on the countertop and you're able to move the cake board around.
And then once the top is covered, it doesn't need to be perfect because we're gonna go back to it. We just wanna make it relatively flat and make sure all the cake on top is covered. The next thing you're gonna do, still using your offset spatula, is you're going to scoop about 2 inches or so of icing onto it, and then slap it onto the cake this way so that your hand is still on the outside, and you're just gonna rock it back and forth and pull off so that you put the icing onto the cake. And then you're gonna repeat that step all the way around the cake. So you can start doing the top rim, top half of the cake. And again, it doesn't need to be perfectly smooth. We're gonna get back to that, but you do wanna make sure that no cake is showing. So if you add a lot of frosting, that's fine. We're gonna end up removing it, but you do wanna get this cake covered. So now that I've done the top half, I'm gonna go back in the same way and do around the bottom. And just rock back and forth, covering the cake. All right. Then we're gonna clean off our spatula onto the side of the bowl and set that down for now. We're gonna pick up our smoother. Now with your smoother, you want 4 fingers on the one side and your thumb on the back. You wanna put it onto the cake board so it is flat, and then you're gonna put it up to the cake, not all the way in. We don't want to be pressing on the cake. We just want to be lightly touching the icing. And then you're going to go ahead and keep your hand steady. Try to keep it straight up and down. Keep it on the board. And we're going to spin our turntable and start smoothing it. And then once you get a good amount of icing on there, you want to do this very frequently. You're going to slide it off on the side of the bowl. The cleaner this is, the better it will smooth. So then we're gonna go back to where we ended our smoothing, touch it to the cake, and continue all the way around. And we're gonna clean it off again. And we're gonna keep on doing that. You can add a little bit more pressure if you see that it's not really smoothing, and keep it clean. And around, might have to do this a couple times until it's smooth. And if you need to, if some cake starts showing or you see it's a little uneven and you can't get certain parts smooth, you can go back in with your offset spatula and just add a little bit more icing to wherever you need it to be, and then you can go back to smoothing. So don't be afraid if you need to do this a few times, add a little more icing, re-smooth it out again. You want to make sure the icing comes all the way up to the rim of the cake up here. And then once the sides are as smooth as you'd like them, we're gonna pick back. Then once the sides are smooth, we're gonna pick back up our offset spatula. You're gonna hold it the same way as before. And then you're gonna put it at a 45-degree angle. You wanna make sure it's nice and clean off the bowl. 45-degree angle, you're gonna level it out on the side with your eye, try to eyeball it. And you're gonna put it 45 degrees, the edge of the cake, and then bring it into the middle. And then wipe off the icing. Then you're gonna go to the next spot. Same thing, 45-degree angle at the edge of the cake, and pull it into the middle, pick it up, clean off the icing, and you're gonna do that all the way around the cake.
And make sure to share, like, ask your friends to like your final photo. We'll be giving away a gift card, maybe another special little treat with it. And we'll announce the winner the following Monday. So whoever has the most likes will receive your gift card. We will be offering additional cakes through the month of December, so make sure to stay on our social media to get all the updates of those.
You're happy with the way it looks. We are gonna smooth it out a bit more in a little bit, but for now, it looks pretty good. So we're gonna put it in the fridge to cool while we do our next step.
You'll receive 3 chocolate bags, and they would have been pre-melted. We make them to the consistency to help make the feathers, and then obviously with the chocolate, it is gonna reharden. You can pop them in the microwave at 30-second increments. Make sure to really move around the chocolate once it starts to melt, because you want it to be nice and smooth.
So for now, this one is hardened back up completely. So we're gonna go ahead and microwave it, and then we'll start the leaves. So we have them melted. You wanna start off with 30 seconds. They should be pretty almost ready to go within 30 seconds. They should be nice and watery. If they are still a bit tough, put them back in the microwave 10 seconds at a time. You don't wanna overdo them because they will get too hot and they can melt through the bag. Be careful not to have your kids pull them out of the microwave because they are a little bit heated. So then what we're gonna do is, you're gonna take a pair of scissors and you're gonna cut just a little bit of the tip off of each bag. Start small. You can always cut a little bigger if you need to. So then we're going to use our parchment paper, and we are going to make the feathers for the turkey. So I'm just going to start off with the outline, And I'm just gonna do a little feather shape, come to the point up at the top. You want the bottom to be rounded so that when we stick it into the cake, it is a little more sturdy. So now that I did the outline, I'm just gonna go and fill in the middle. You can use the tip of the bag to kind of swirl it around, make sure it gets into all the parts so that it's fully covered. You don't want it to be too thin as it'll crack when you put it in the cake, but you don't need it to be super thick either. And then you can take your parchment paper and just do a couple taps and it'll be nice and smooth. And then we're gonna do a couple more colors. I'm gonna do some red and orange ones. And they can be different sizes. They do not all have to be the same size. You can do big ones and little ones.
Feel free to have fun with this part. There's no right or wrong. You can mix the colors. This is a great way to make it kind of your own.
So you can go ahead and switch up the colors, make them look a little more feathery if you like, add some lines and some details.
So they will get a little bit hard, the chocolate, while it's sitting out, especially right at the tip. So sometimes you'll just have to kind of use your finger to squeeze out the little bit that is hard, and then you'll see that the rest of the bag is pretty empty.
And then it should come out nice and smooth. You can always test it before you go onto your feather just to get a feel of how quickly it comes out. So then I'm gonna do a few more of these. You could swirl the colors together. All kinds of different designs you could do with this. And if you wait a little too long, if it starts the chocolate starts to get a little too hard, just go ahead and pop it back in the fridge for another 10 seconds at a time. It'll heat up really quick and be smooth again.
You don't like what what they look like, what the feathers turn out, you can always remelt the chocolate. There's no right or wrong.
As many times as you need. You kind of use the tip to reshape them. If you want to make them a little wider, just go back around it. So I think that's going to be enough for my cake. So now we're going to take these leaves while we do the... All right, so now that we have our cake out of the fridge, we have included some paper towels for you, and we're going to use this to smooth out the buttercream just a bit more. You're going to use the softer side of the paper towel is going to go onto the cake. You're going to put the paper towel on your hand, and then you're going to hold it up to the side of the cake, and you're just going to up and down lightly, very lightly, because we're just smoothing it. We don't want to press our fingers into the icing and leave fingerprints. Just as if you're cut that out.
Yeah.
When you pull it off, you'll see that it's nice and smooth. The little crinkles are coming out. You're just going to continue to do that all the way around the cake. Very lightly, barely touching it, just rubbing the paper towel, not pressing.
And you can frost the cake the night before if you would like and leave it in the fridge overnight. or at minimum keep it in for around like 30 to 40 minutes, just so that the outside buttercream does have a little bit of firmness to it.
So we're just smoothing around the edge, all the way around. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put it on top and just circular, nice and light. Just smoothing it. The paper towel is doing all the work. I'm just lightly rubbing it. Then when you pull off, you can look around. If you see that there's any little spaces that are a little more sticking out, just go back over it and rub the paper towel. All right, so it looks good. So we're gonna go on to our next step, and we're gonna clean up this board. So for this part, you're gonna wet in a paper towel just a bit. You're gonna go ahead and wrap it around your finger, and you're gonna go as close to the cake without touching it and just wipe that icing away. Then you're gonna keep on rotating the paper towel so it's nice and clean around your finger and clean as you go. And we're just gonna keep on repeating that process till we get the board clean all the way around. You might need more than one paper towel to do this, depending on how much icing is on your board. All right. Then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to do the turkey's face. So you want to decide which part of your cake you want the front to be. I would suggest finding the smoothest, nicest looking side, and we're going to make that the front of the cake. So we're gonna start off with the turkey's eyes. Okay, so the way we're gonna hold our icing bags, we're gonna take our pointer finger and our thumb and squeeze them together pretty tightly so that the icing separates between them. And then when you press your fingers down, the icing should start to come out. And when you put them up, it should stop coming out. So press is how it's gonna come out, okay? So we're gonna go to our cake and we're gonna make the eyes. So I'm gonna do 2 circles.
Trying to get the best angle for you guys.
I'm gonna give my turkey kind of some big eyes. You can always start small and make them bigger. And then we're gonna go ahead and take our black. Again, cut the tip just a little bit. And we're gonna do our turkey pupils. You wanna try to make them as similar as possible.
You can always add, once you've looked at them, just to make sure that they're nice and even. And I add to that one a little bit. See, that's uneven.
So we're just gonna go back in and round it out a bit.
There you go.
It's good to start small, because then if you kind of mess up, you can just make it bigger and bigger until it matches. Then we're gonna cut the tip off our orange here. And we're gonna do a turkey nose. So again, this is how we're gonna hold the icing bag. And I'm gonna start here, and I'm just gonna zigzag his nose. kind of triangular. Again, you guys have creative license. You can do it however you'd like it to look. Give him a really big beak or a smaller beak. Smaller eyes, up to you. And then we're gonna go ahead and add his little turkey gobble. So we're gonna go right up to the eye and nose and bring it down and give him a little gobble. And then I'm going to go get the feathers out of the refrigerator.
We'll have a little bit of extra buttercream in there if you wanted to add a border, if you wanted to add a saying on your board. You wanted to give them some sort of decoration on the sides. You can do whatever you would like.
So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put the feathers in. Now you might wanna use a knife to help with the feathers. You want the cake to not be straight out of the fridge at this point. You want it to be a little bit softer so it's easier to put the feathers in. But parents, a knife would help. So figure out where on the cake you would like the feather to go, and then just do a little insert about 1 inch. We just want to make it so that when we put the feather in, it holds it nice and easy without cracking. So you just want to go ahead, make a little incision about the width of the feather and just kind of shimmy it in. You want to be very careful when you're holding the feathers not to crack them, but if you do, you can go back and make some more and just add them back in once they're dry. So we're just going to stick all of our little feathers in. And you can do this however you want. You can fill the whole top with feathers. You can just do the back. You can do all around. However you want your turkey to look.
All right. We will show you how to do a quick border if you would like. Again, the original picture does not have a border, but you can add it.
You can do whatever you want. If you want to use some icing to go on the feathers once they're on, you could do that. I'm going to show you how to just do a quick border. So I'm going to cut the tip of my orange. I'm just going to use orange. I'm going to cut it a little bit more. And then we're going to hold the icing bag again like we showed before. And when you press on your fingers down, it should start to come out. So you're gonna hold it up against the side of the cake and you're gonna squeeze and pull to the right. It's gonna look like a little tadpole. And then you're gonna start where the line comes out. We're gonna go back in again and we're gonna squeeze and pull to the right. And we're gonna repeat that. Squeeze, pull to the right. Squeeze, pull to the right. And of course you can do different borders as well. You can do a squiggly if that's just up and down like that. You do like a little loop-de-loop. You can just have fun with it. There's lots of different things you could do. Just gonna go all the way around. And there we go.
All right, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We can't wait to see your end result. Feel free to always give us a call, shoot us a text while you're decorating. If you have any questions, we will be available.